so groovy. I got power. I'm so groovy. I got power.
Hey guys, it's Pt1 and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and be sure to click that subscribe button below. And while you're at it, after you subscribe, make sure you hit the alert so you can get alerted for every time I post and get, upcoming posts and videos and things like that. And be sure to follow me on my social media platforms. They're going to be listed in the description box below, because Snapchat is like the VIP of my life pretty much. I snap every day, all day. So just to keep up with me, you might want to follow me on Snapchat and we could be friends, and you can follow me on Instagram. You know how the drill go. So yeah. Different video because I've been getting questions a lot on this situation. I mean, for a long time I didn't want to cover the story because I didn't want people in my inside business, but I mean, since it can happen to anyone, I just figured why not? Like, it needs to get out just in case this happens to somebody else child. They need to know that they're not alone, you know. So I just want to talk about what happened to my son and how he almost died. So if you don't know, my son was really sick and he was hospitalized for a month. He was had tubes all in him. I'm going to be having pictures and everything in this video, but I just don't really, this is my first time like really telling the whole story, so like just bear with me, you know, have some patience. So it's been exactly a year since it happened. So it started in August of last year. So August of 2016, my son just spiked a fever out of nowhere. And it was around the time he should have been teething, so we just didn't think nothing of it. And at the time, me and his dad wasn't together. So it was his time with me, and in the middle of the night, he was crying. And Bryce, at that time, back then, Bryce was fine to sleep throughout the night. So this time he was crying a lot in the middle of the night. So he was sleeping next to me, and I just thought maybe his pacifier fell out or he was like teething or something. So when I picked him up to lay him on me, his body was really, really hot. Like it burnt my stomach how hot he was. So I popped right up. This was probably like 3 o'clock in the morning. I popped right up and I took his temperature. His temperature was like 103 or something like that. And this happened when he was like 6 months. So 103 degree temperature at 6 months is just not good. It's like unacceptable. It's like something is clearly wrong. So I called the doctor hotline because the doctor he goes to doesn't take walk-ins. I mean, unless it's emergency room. But I just called the hotline to get an emergency nurse to give me a call and let me know what to do. So after I did that, she just told me to give him some medicine, and then like the way that it works is if he still have a fever after 72 hours, then I have to bring him in. So they just wanted me to watch him pretty much, just to keep an eye out on it. And this is my first and only child, so I just was like freaking out. So that was Thursday night. So Friday morning, he still was having the same fever. Time went on, I still was just keeping an eye out for it. The fever still was there, and then it went up to 104. So I just said fuck the doctors, and I took him to the doctors. Like, I took him in there. So when I got there, they was like, oh, you can't do walk-ins. I'm like, well, my son have a fever, and like basically same old, just give him Motrin, da 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 da. So I took him home again. Then he wouldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep without us holding him. Like, his dad wound up coming to my house and was like wound up helping me and stuff like that, because like that's hard for my mom to do that by herself with a sick child. So he was helping me and stuff because Bryce wouldn't my son name is Bryce, by the way. So Bryce wouldn't let me like do anything without him on me, so he wanted to lay on me like just for comfort. He wasn't feeling good, so I needed his dad there to help me. Still having a fever, he couldn't sleep, he wouldn't eat, he wouldn't drink, da da da. They told us to keep giving him Pedialyte. I get Pediatrician and Pedialyte mixed up, but the orange stuff, it looked like Gatorade. So they told us to keep giving him that since he didn't want to eat. So we was giving him that, fine, boom, boom. Saturday come. This week went by fast. Saturday come, and I wound up coming over to my baby dad's house at the time. Came over here with Bryce, and no. So Friday, he was over my house, and then he left. And then, like 3 o'clock in the morning, going into Saturday, I told him to come get us because I didn't want to do it by myself. So he came to get us Saturday. He was having a cookout and stuff like that. I think it was like, near like Labor Day or something like that. They was having a cookout and stuff. So Bryce wouldn't eat at all. He wouldn't drink nothing. Wouldn't even drink the bottle. He was like breathing real heavily and it felt like it seemed like he couldn't swallow. So I went to the nail salon and he was with his dad. So before I left, I'm like, his throat looked funny. Like all right here was like swollen, and I'm gonna have pictures also. So all right here was like pretty swollen. It was like coming out his neck. Like it was like wide. So I was looking, I'm like, it's swollen. He like, no it's not, no it's not, because my son was always chunky, so it would be hard to notice if he was swollen in his throat or not because he was a chunky baby. So I said it wherever. I went to the nail salon, came back. I'm like, yo, like look at his neck. So I asked his mom, I said, do you see anything wrong with Bryce's neck? She like, yeah, you need to take him to the doctors. Took him to the doctors. I'm also going to have a picture here for that as well. The doctors did tests and stuff, and they didn't know what was wrong. They're like, we don't know why he's swollen. We don't know why he can't swallow. But then we went to a local like adult hospital. I don't care. I'm just gonna say the names and stuff because fuck it. We went to Abington Hospital. I'm located in Philadelphia, so we went to Abington Hospital because it was late at night. So we went to the hospital, and they did the tests and things like that. They did a CAT scan and everything. They was like, you guys need to go to Children's Hospital. So they called the ambulance. The doctors called the ambulance and rushed us to Children's Hospital. We got to Children's Hospital and he drove, and I got in the ambulance with Bryce. So the lights rang and we driving on express, so we get there super fast. We come in, everybody, the doctors and stuff rushing around my son and things like that. The eye, nose, and ears doctor came in. They're looking in his throat. They put a camera in his throat and to see if it was anything. They couldn't. They like, we don't know what's wrong. And then I knew it was really, really wrong when the doctor asked me, can he take a personal picture in his cell phone because he never seen a case like this before. He like, well, I never seen a case like this. Like, do you mind if I take a picture? I'm like, go ahead, like whatever. If you want to find out what's going on by taking a picture, then do what you gotta do because my son can't breathe. So his throat was like really, really bad, you guys, like so bad. So that was going into Sunday. So I was a dental assistant at that time. I called my job and I let them know I wasn't gonna be able to be in to work on Monday because what's going on with my son. Remember, I told her that this is my first time calling out, so I'm just going on a whole experience on how all this shit happened. So she like, so I told my job, told him like, my son at the hospital, he got, So what happened? So they doing the test, they still don't know what's wrong, doing multiple tests, still don't know. So they like, we do see some bacteria in his throat and in his chest. So like, we're gonna have to do surgery. You know me, I'm a crybaby. Start crying, da-da-da. So after they do the surgery, mind you, this whole time they're still not saying what is it? Like, you know, like, what is the diagnosis? Like, you're saying bacteria, but like, what's the diagnosis? You know, like cancer, da-da-da, like what is this? They don't know. They have no idea what's going on with my son. They just know it's bacteria in his throat and in his chest. So they decide to do the surgery. They explain to us that they're going to stick a tube down his throat to drain all the bacteria and fluid out, and the same in his chest. So like about like underneath like where your bra strap would be, right there, they put 2 holes in there to drain everything out. That was the first surgery. Came back, and I'm gonna have a picture right here on what I seen. I'm gonna have a picture before my son went into surgery, how swollen he was. So after surgery, he came out, he was telling and things like that. There was like, is a chance it may come back. So after the surgery, mind you, so after this, before he went to surgery, they had no clue what was going on with him. They didn't know what he had. They didn't have no diagnosis or nothing. They just knew it was bacteria in his throat and chest. After the surgery, they came out and said that my son had MRSA. And if anybody, like, if you know, MRSA comes from the hospital. You only can get it from the hospital or like jail. And my fucking child wasn't in jail. He's a fucking baby. Me or his dad wasn't like recently in jail. So that's a story time. But that was no jail. So it's like he got this bacteria in his chest and in his throat. Y'all don't know what's wrong with him. After the surgery with y'all come back and say my son had MRSA. Like, what the fuck is y'all doing? So I'm getting mad because it's like, now my son got MRSA. Like, and y'all, like, he got that shit from y'all. Like, so that's what the diagnosis was. And so before he went into surgery, they didn't know what it was. Like, basically, it's just like bullshit. So he's healing. Like, a couple days go by, they do more tests, and they're like, we have to go in again. Come to find out, I forgot the name. Well, they didn't even tell me a name. It's just like I googled it and found the name for it. But it was a name, and it was like the doctors told me and his dad and like my grandmother and my sister, and it was like there was only 3 other children like that we know of with what he had, like whatever this bacteria is, and 2 of them died. So basically, your son need to fight for his fucking life because 3 kids had this and 2 of them died. My son was only 6 months. Like, what do you mean fight for his life? Like, so that was just like the heartbreaking of it all. So my son, after the surgery, it took a really, really long time for my son to heal. They told us that because he had so many surgeries, they went here and there one time, and then they went back here and there again, so 4 times pretty much. So they're like, because he had so many surgeries and he's so young and small, his lung is not completely healed yet, and he could get sick from anything. And basically, for a month straight, my son looked like when I'm about to post. He had tubes in his mouth. He had a breathing tube in his mouth. He had tubes all here and here. And then when they would see him after his surgery, he was crying, but he was like put to sleep but crying for me, and it was like the worst thing ever. I'm not about to be a pussy right now and cry, but it was just the worst thing ever. And it's like to know that this can happen to anybody, and there was nothing we can do to stop it because they don't even know what happened. They just know after they went in and opened my son up that he had MRSA. So it was like, he got MRSA from y'all dirty ass motherfuckers, like pretty much. In the midst of them doing the surgeries and finding out he had bacteria, he had a blood clot about like here, close to his brain, because of the swelling. So the blood flow wasn't going down, so it was becoming a blood clot here, like he had a blood clot. So they were just giving him injections twice a day, and it was just like so much, and he was like such a fucking baby, and it was just like the worst time. I don't wish this on nobody, so that's why I'm pretty much just sharing this story, because I don't want anybody to go through this. And even if you are going through this and you don't know what the fuck is going on, you're not the only one. Like, I've been through it, my son been through it, we've been through it as a family. So it's like, that's just why I want to share the story. Since it took him a month to heal, they had to keep watching. We didn't know when he was going to be able to come home. So after that month, they told us we had to take a class. We had to take 2 classes because they said if he's going to come home, since he can't swallow, and when he did swallow, it was going to his lungs. So if he was to drink milk, the milk would go to his lungs, which is fluid in his lungs, and basically he's drowning. So it's like, pretty much. So they're like, he had to be on a feeding tube. So we had to take a class to learn how to put the feeding tube through my son's nose so he can eat properly every day. And we also had to take, the second class was the injection class. We had to give my son 2 injections twice a day for the blood clot to help it release. And pretty much that's just what the class. After we took the classes, we had to stay overnight in the hospital. We had to stay in the hospital for 24 hours, and we had to take care of him as if he was home, just so they can see that we're able to take care of him. So we did that, and mind you, like, it was just like so much shit. So we did that, and then the next day he was able to come home. However, he just was on the feeding tube, and we had to do the injections, and he wasn't able to eat. So he came home in October. And his next appointment to find out if he could get off the feeding tube was November. It was right before Thanksgiving, because I was like super excited for that, because I wanted him to like taste some food, like, you know, like he's a baby, like babies love like macaroni and cheese and shit like that. So I was just like super excited. I just wanted him to be able to eat. So we went to the appointment, and he didn't pass. He wouldn't swallow what they were trying to make him swallow. I'm not sure if you guys know what it is, but sometimes they do a test to see where you're swallowing. It looks like milk, but it's really like a magnetic thing, so it show up in an x-ray or something like that. I guess it's nasty. But Bryce wouldn't swallow it, and then he wouldn't swallow it. So they're like, well, we can't take him off the tube if he's not swallowing. That means how he's going to eat. Next appointment, the next time he went, they pretty much said we can feed him by mouth and still have the tube there just in case he don't do it. Bryce fit is, he just wanted to eat, so we just took the tube out and just let him eat regularly, and that was it. But as far as the blood clot, we were still giving him shots, injections twice a day until December, like the end of December. So Bryce went through a lot, and so did we, and people just ask a million questions about it, and then this is my first time telling the whole story on what happened to Bryce. So I still do not know what my son had before he went into that hospital. I don't know why his throat was swollen. I don't know the diagnostics of it, because they didn't even know. They just know after surgery he had MRSA. So we were going to, I don't know if I should talk about it. Fuck it. We was going to sue or whatever, because y'all get my son MRSA, and he didn't have that before then, which is documented. And so we was, because like the whole tragedy and everything that we went through because of that. But guess we not, like, whatever. I don't feel like going through the battles and everything like that. I think I'm just going to drop it. Like, we've been through enough. But good news, Bryce is fine. He's super healthy, and then I'll have like a little slideshow of Bryce, I guess, at the end, so you can see how my son is and how playful and healthy he is. It's just that it's just really scary, because if anything goes wrong with him, I'm quick to go to the doctors. I don't know, because I can't sit here and play around. Like, he gets a fever, boom, I'm at the hospital. I'm not playing. Like, I don't play when it comes to my kid, you know. So that's basically what it is. So here's the slideshow, and thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you guys have any more questions, I'll do a question and answer, I guess, for the next video if you want, or if you have any type of questions about motherhood, parenting, anything like that. Mind you, I am 22 years old, so I am young, but I am, you know, I am stable. So yeah, but yeah, so if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to ask all your questions in the comment. You know, answer your fucking question.
Bryce, say cheese. Hi, what is wrong with your shirt?
Oh, my shirt?
Your shirt, yes. What's up? You could get the ball. Go ahead, get it.